Most bikepacking upgrades involve replacing something that you already own. New bags, new wheels, new major components, new tents. It's all very expensive. But what if I told you you can make your existing setup better without replacing or overhauling any of the major components? In this video, I'm going to show you 3 things that you can add to your existing bikepacking setup without having to do major overhauling or replacements to make it better. Because if you're anything like me and you already really like your setup, it doesn't need major upgrades. It just needs refining a little bit more, and that way you can still use your existing setup as you like it. The first upgrade you can make is going out and buying a suspension component, and I don't mean a high-end suspension fork. Instead, look at something like this. This is a Redshift suspension seat post. Other companies make similar sort of products as well. You can also get things like suspension stems, and they may seem a minor upgrade, but they do make a huge difference, especially if you're going somewhere where the terrain is particularly rocky. I've had these installed on my gravel bike for several years now, and I would not go without them. It has made that bike that was otherwise not brilliant at going off-road fantastic, and it's incredibly comfortable. I've taken it all over the world. And it is a minor upgrade that takes literally minutes to put on your bike, but it can make a huge difference. Okay, so that's kind of up for debate whether or not that's a major component, but it doesn't take long to replace a seat post or a stem unless you've got some integrated dropper post or something, in which case just don't do it. This has just got back from an epic bikepacking trip in southwest of Scotland, so it's a little bit of a mess at the moment, but there's 2 things that I've added to this setup that haven't taken anything away, took me a couple of minutes to do, and have made it better. Okay, this item is somewhere on the handlebars, and it has made a big difference to me and my bikepacking trips. Can you see it? You've probably missed it. It's not the computer, it's not the camera mount, it's none of these grips or anything like that. It's actually underneath the bike computer. This is a Ravemen bike light, and it slots onto your existing bike computer mount. So I normally run a Garmin. I'm not on this occasion. I'm running a Geoid CC700 Pro, which is kind of like my training bike computer, but that fits on a Garmin mount as well. And the great thing about this light is that it is all purpose. It's a flashing light, and it's also very powerful main beam. So if you're a bit like me and you've realised you've been out on your bike a little bit too long on these bikepacking trips and you've forgotten to pack your light, well, you don't need to worry because you've already got one built into your Garmin mount. Specifically, this is the Ravemen FR1100, and the 1100 gives a bit of it away. It's an 1100 lumen light, which is incredibly bright. It's got over 100 meters of beam distance and 6 lighting modes. It's a 2,500 milliamp battery, and it's clever. It's got auto start and stop, so if you put your bike to one side, it will turn off automatically and restart when you start riding again. One thing I really like about this though is that you can use it as an emergency power bank. If you're out bikepacking and you suddenly have a panic thinking that your Garmin or whatever bike computer you're using is running out of power, you needn't worry. You simply plug in a USB-C to C and it will draw power from this to the Garmin, which is an excellent feature. And I love things like this when I'm bikepacking that can do multiple things. So if you're not using the light, you can use it to charge your Garmin. And even if you are using your light, you can still use it to charge your Garmin, but you just got to be aware you're going to drain the battery a bit more quickly. It weighs less than 120 grams, and like I've said, it goes underneath your bike computer, so you don't even realise it's there most of the time. It's got up to 46 hours of battery life, and with that sort of battery life and discretion, you can just leave it on your bike and set it and forget it until you find yourself suddenly riding in the dark and you need a light. You've already got one. And that's exactly how it played out for me when I was bikepacking in Poland just the other day. I've done 2 back-to-back bikepacking trips this month, and I found myself riding really long days, and at one point I was riding into the night and just basically all of a sudden it got dark. I did have a bike light with me, but it was buried somewhere in the panniers, so the fact that I had this on my bike at the same time and I could quickly turn it on and just keep riding to my destination without having to stop was really valuable to me at the time. One really cool thing about a light like this is it doesn't take up any additional space on your handlebars. If you're like me or most bikepackers out there, you tend to have quite a busy handlebar setup with cameras, lights, bells, any other accessories as well. It can be quite hard to find space to add more stuff to it, but you don't have to worry about that with a light like this. It just slots straight onto your bike computer mount and you have a light ready to go. And the final thing that is really small and can be added to your existing bikepacking setup that can be incredibly valuable and isn't that expensive is one of these. It's an electric bike pump. This is one from Cyc Plus that I've had for a few years now, but there are loads of different companies out there that make them, and I have several of them in my garage. At first, I was a bit unsure as to whether these were any good. Because they're electronic, it was another thing you have to charge up. You also have to bring a manual pump with you anyway, just in case it breaks. So at one point, I was thinking, what is the point of something like this? But recently, I've been using this more and more. I still always take my manual pump, but for things like checking your tyre pressure quickly or assembling your bike when you get off the plane and wanting to pump up your tyres quickly without having to take a track pump, these are excellent for that. The battery life on these is surprisingly good. It will easily do 2 flat to fully inflated tyres, even on a high pressure road bike tyre. And it's USB-C rechargeable, so you can always charge it, doesn't take long to do so. I just like having these in my bag. It's a bit of peace of mind knowing I can very quickly check the pressure, pump up the tyres, and away I go. Now, if you're still on the fence about buying an electric pump, just think about the other means that you use to pump up your tyres. You might take a large pump or a track pump with you when you're out bikepacking, or you take your bike on a plane. You might even take CO2 canisters with you. Both of those things have flaws, and this solves all those issues. It's not a one-hit wonder like a CO2 canister, and it's not huge like a powerful high-pressure pump. It sits somewhere in between. It's reusable, it's small, and it will pump up your tyres. So from that point of view, I think this is worth keeping in your bag as a spare, as well as your manual pump. So there you go, 3 upgrades that you can make to your existing bikepacking setup without having to rip everything off and overhaul everything. And they are reasonably inexpensive. Maybe not the seat post and the stem, but everything else is very cheap. And they are all things that I have been using for a while and have found incredibly helpful. Let me know what you think about these 3 different things I've talked about in this video, and also let me know your opinion. Is there anything that you would also recommend that's a minor upgrade that can make a big difference on a bikepacking trip? We'd love to hear your thoughts. Stick them in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video.